Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahabhadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratashe Namaha Namo Brahmanaya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitayacha Jagadatai Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vrindaya Tulsi Devi Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Prati Devi Satyabhatyaya Namo Namah Yani Kani Chapapani Brahmahatya Dagani Cha Tani Pranasyanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Terubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. This will be a very unusual class. I'm going to try and present my understanding. In a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave, 1973, January 17, he's lecturing on the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 10th chapter, verse number 2. I'm supposed to click, got it. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining. He's talking on the verse in Bhagavad Gita, 10:10, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, to those who are constantly devoted in love. Krishna says, he gives the understanding how to go forward. So he says, Srila Prabhupada says here, if you are engaged, satatam, 24 hours, without any other engagement, and then he describes how. In what mood? Sarva Dharman Parityagya. He's quoting 1866 in Bhagavad Gita. Giving up all other nonsense business. Sarva Dharman, all other business. Simply if you are engaged in Krishna's business, then he describes, then Srila Prabhupada, for us, begins to describe what he means, being engaged. Priti Purvakam, with love, not as hackneyed. What does the word hackneyed mean? It means we've heard it so often it doesn't mean anything to us anymore. So Srila Prabhupada is telling us how to chant Hare Krishna, not as hackneyed, and then Srila Prabhupada does a takeoff, we call it. He's imitating one of us, how we might approach our japa period. Srila Prabhupada says, oh, here's the duty. Chanting Hare Krishna. All right. And then you can hear this lecture. Srila Prabhupada chants very fast. And then Srila Prabhupada says, Prabhupada chants, he says, not like that. With priti, with love. Chant every name, Hare Krishna, and here is Krishna, Srila Prabhupada saying in the sound vibration. Here is Radharani. That kind of chanting. Quality. Not Hare Krishna, says, no, that kind of chanting. quality, not like that, not like that, pretty with love. So Srila Prabhupada is saying, he's instructing us that he wants us to chant the holy name with love. Then here's another lecture. This is a lecture on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 22, verses 31 through 33. It's given in New York in 1967, January 16. He is present by his name. Srila Prabhupada is speaking. He is present by his name. He's present by his fame. He's present by his pastime. He's present by his associate. Anything in Krishna connection, that makes Krishna present in that spot. This is actual fact, Srila Prabhupada says. This is actual fact. One has to realize it. That's all. So Srila Prabhupada is telling us that Krishna is present in the sound vibration of his name, and we have to realize it. Now, then Srila Prabhupada starts to say how we're chanting and how we should chant. Now, when you chant Hare Krishna, if we chant mechanically, then the effect is different. What does Srila? He said we have to realize. He said, but if we're just chanting mechanically, then the effect is different. We won't realize. He said, so mechanical chanting, mechanical way of chanting, this is another offense. In other words, the offense is against the whole inattentive. It's inattentive to chant mechanically. You're in front of Krishna. If I'm in front of you and I call your name, but I don't see you or acknowledge that you're even there, this is what. So this is offensive. You say, what is this person doing here? He says, so offenseless chanting, Srila Prabhupada. We should be careful that the chanting should be offenseless. Then we shall realize that Krishna is present by his name. He is present. You will realize and you'll have the same effect as you would expect by meeting Krishna personally. So in other words, there's the second quote. Srila Prabhupada is saying, no, not just doing mechanical, do with real feeling that you're relating to a real person, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, calling his name in his presence. Now here's another purport excerpt. It's very important that I give these quotes because I don't want anyone to think I'm making something up. This is Srila Prabhupada's instruction. This is from a purport. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, verse number 6. And this is an excerpt from Srila Prabhupada's purport. It is a great transcendental science. And it begins with the process of hearing and chanting. Chanting the name, fame, glory, etc. of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, try and understand this next sentence because Srila Prabhupada, his English is not a little bit different. Revival of our dormant affection of love of Godhead does not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting. So Srila Prabhupada is saying it's a great science, and chanting the name of Krishna, but the reason we're doing it is to revive our dormant love for Krishna. He says, but revival of our dormant affection of love or love of Godhead, revival of the dormant affection or love of Godhead. It does not depend on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting. In other words, he's saying that the mechanical system of hearing and chanting will not give us that love. So that's in third quote. Another quote, lecture given in 1972, Bombay, December 26th, a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, 8th verse. This is a very strong quote, very strong.
Ishan Prabhu,
Yes,
if you want any text like that, if it's really important and we have the time, just give it to me and I'll write it down. I'll try to get it on screen if you give me a couple of seconds. Do you want me to get it on screen?
Almost finished with the quotes. I think people can understand what I'm saying. If you saw it in writing, then it might make it more, but I'm not making anything up. I'm just reading. So in this lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, you can discharge your duty very nicely. Our duties, that is everything Srila Prabhupada has asked of us. Our program, our chanting, everything. You can discharge your duty very nicely, but you have to see whether you're developing attachment for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada means through this process that you're taking. Attachment, what does it mean? Srila Prabhupada says, attachment means love. Whether you're trying to satisfy Krishna, that is the test. If that is not done, simply formulas. And Srila Prabhupada uses this word formula, which means all the program, all the instructions, everything we're supposed to do, everything we're not supposed to do, just following it perfectly. If we're not developing our love through the process, Srila Prabhupada said, if that is not done, simply formulas. If you execute the formula, as I explained the other day, niyamagraha, without any satisfaction of Krishna. What does Srila Prabhupada mean? He means that we're doing it without a desire a living desire, a feeling in our heart to give Krishna pleasure. So I'll read that again. If this is not done, simply formulas. If you execute the formula, as I explained the other day, niyamagraha, without any satisfaction of Krishna, then Sutta Goswami says, it is simply laboring and waste of time. This is very shaking to hear a thing like that. Now, going back to the purport, there's a difference. It doesn't mean, so what does Srila Prabhupada mean when he says simply laboring waste of time? Not that it should break our hearts, because in the previous purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, verse number 6, Srila Prabhupada continues. He says, revival of the dormant affection or love of God It does not depend on this, on the mechanical system of hearing and chanting. But Srila Prabhupada says, even with the prescribed forms of hearing and chanting, there is at once a mitigation of the superfluous and unwanted miseries of material existence. Let me read that again. Even with the prescribed forms, meaning Srila Prabhupada is saying, even if we're doing it mechanically, even with the prescribed forms of hearing, there is at once a mitigation of the superfluous and unwanted miseries of material existence. So we have two kinds of, this is very powerful. It means that the process is so powerful that even if we're absent-minded, even if our attention is somewhere else, our anxiety will go away. Our lamentations in the heart will disappear. It will bring us up. There's a verse like this in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam that brings us up that the process is so powerful that it elevates us to the mode of goodness wherein the heart becomes light. So this is where I believe most of us are situated. When we engage in doing our japa, when we engage in doing kirtan, when we engage in worshiping the deities, when we engage in any making an offering, etc., it elevates us up in a very nice way to the mode of goodness. Even we don't have feelings of spontaneous love for Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada is trying to encourage, but Srila Prabhupada is saying it will liberate us. It will liberate us from our material anxieties. It will make us feel very nice, but it will not. It will not bring us to the development of feelings of love for Krishna. It doesn't work that way. So there's this distinction. So I have volumes of such quotes, but I just wanted to make my point that this process is very powerful and we can all enjoy it very much. But if we want to revive, reawaken our dormant love of Krishna, we have to come to the point of engaging with feelings of love. This is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. So the question arises, what is it that's causing us to continue approaching our cultivation of Krishna consciousness with a mechanical approach? What makes us do that? Srila Prabhupada gives a diagnosis in his Bombay lecture, 1972. If you're thinking that by executing the prescribed formula, you will attain devotion, this is a mistake. This is a quote from Srila Prabhupada's Bombay lecture, 1972. Simply, if you execute the formula, Srila Prabhupada, yes, we read it. What is Srila Prabhupada saying? He's saying, if you're thinking that by executing the prescribed formula, you'll attain this devotion, it's a mistake. Srila Prabhupada says in this lecture, simply formulas, if you execute the formula, as I explained the other day, niyamagraha. So what is niyamagraha? Niyamagraha means that we are doing all the actions correctly, even perfectly. But the actions are not meant to be a form, or the actions, excuse me, the actions are actually meant to be a form or container in which contains what Krishna really wants. That's what the actions are for. Krishna wants our love. And without love, which is the essential component, the essential ingredient, the container is empty. And this is the meaning of niyamagraha. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is saying to us, simply formulas. If you execute the formula, as I have explained the other day, niyamagraha, without satisfaction of Krishna. In other words, Srila Prabhupada is saying, without having in our hearts a genuine feeling of desire to give pleasure to Krishna, without feeling that Krishna is present and Krishna can feel the love in my heart, and Krishna is wanting very much to receive my feeling of love. If I don't have that quality, that's what niyamagraha means. Simply formulas, if you execute the formula. So, niyamagraha, without any satisfaction of, meaning without a yearning in our hearts to give pleasure to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada is saying, simply formulas. Then Sutta Goswami says, Srila Prabhupada is saying, it's a laboring and waste of time. Now the question arises, why is it simply laboring and waste of time? Quote, revival of the dormant affection of love of Godhead does not depend on this mechanical system of hearing and chanting. In other words, when we engage in the prescribed forms of devotional service in a mechanical way, without devotional feeling in my heart, my material discomforts, my lamentations, my anxieties will leave. But even though I'm experiencing this kind of benefit, my dormant love of Krishna won't be revived. So, Srila Prabhupada is telling us that the cultivation of love of Krishna will not come about by engaging in our devotional practice mechanically. It'll make us feel better, but feelings of love will not blossom this way. So now we're inclined to think of Krishna consciousness cultivation as a linear process, a sequential process of cause and effect. If I do this and if I do that, I'll obtain a result. Because everything in the material world works that way. If I want to build a house, I have to have arrange a contract with a contractor. I have to, he has to bring supplies. He has to hire people. Then there's building. Then there's digging the foundation. Then there's step by step by step by step. And then you have a house. Now, when Krishna desires a house, it's immediately there. When Krishna desired 16,000 palaces in Dwarka for his 16,000 queens, it was they were all immediately there. So when Krishna has a desire to create something, it immediately exists. But in the material world, in order to achieve a desired result, we engage in this linear process. Therefore, we have a very strong tendency to think of our Krishna conscious cultivation, our cultivation of Krishna consciousness as a linear process. Srila Prabhupada doesn't use the word linear, of course. He uses the word formula, like we have a checklist of things to do. The formula: rise early, take shower, attend morning program, chant 16 rounds, offer bhoga to Krishna, take prasadam, distribute books, read books, etc., etc. This is our checklist. This is our formula. He said the formula. We're thinking that if I do the formula, and devotees will insist when I'm speaking to them that we simply have to do the formula. Our goal is to become a devotee. Our goal is to become a devotee whose heart is filled with love for Krishna, a devotee who's joyful, rendering devotional service. We very much want to become a devotee who's tasting the nectar of devotion. And we're thinking, if I follow the formula by completing the checklist of prescribed activity, by applying myself to this checklist with grim determination, day after day, for a year, for 10 years, perhaps for a lifetime, perhaps for 10 lifetimes, then one day I'll be blessed by my spiritual master in Krishna with the realization that will enable me. I'll be blessed with a realization that will enable me to have spontaneous feelings of love for Krishna. A realization that will enable me to engage in devotional service with feelings of joyful enthusiasm. We have the conviction in our hearts, or the hope, that by following the formula, we will be blessed with realization. We will have realization of Krishna's presence. We'll have realization of Krishna's beautiful form. We'll have realization. Our hearts will be captivated by Krishna's beauty. And then our hearts will be filled with feelings of love for Krishna. This is very common way devotees are telling me they're thinking, that if they do everything properly, that one day they'll receive a blessing and they'll realize Krishna's presence in the name, and they'll realize how beautiful and wonderful Krishna is, and then they'll have feelings of love. We are thinking that by being dutiful, doing our duties, we will invoke the blessings of our spiritual master, that he will bestow upon us a realization which will invoke in our hearts. That realization will invoke in our hearts feelings of love for Krishna. This is a linear conception, a stepwise sequential conception of this process of Krishna consciousness. It's a mechanical conception. However, Krishna consciousness is transcendental to this material conception. We're thinking, when I have realization, then I'll have love. But on the transcendental platform, when we have love, then we'll have realization. Actually, our love is our realization. They can't be divided. Because we begin to taste more and more the beauty of Krishna as we focus on feelings of love on Krishna, that feeling of that nectar expands and expands. Srila Prabhupada once told me, yes, and then we become addicted. We become addicted to that taste, and we want more. Srila Prabhupada once he told me he pushed up the sleeve on his arm, and he pretended that he was injecting heroin in his arm. And he said, "Oh, have you seen this?" And then he said, Krishna consciousness is like that. We become addicted to tasting the nectar of devotion. So In Krishna consciousness, Srila Prabhupada says, the means and the goal are one and the same. Well, love is the goal. Therefore, therefore the means is love. The means and the goal are one. Love is the goal and love is the means. So Srila Prabhupada says, quote, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. Srila Prabhupada says, one can be Krishna conscious in a second. Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is simply a matter of understanding and accepting. Of course, all of us feel that we've accepted. Srila Prabhupada has presented Krishna consciousness for our understanding, and we have accepted. That's why we're here. In his Nectar of Instruction, third verse, Srila Rupa Goswami describes the process of acceptance. Utsahan Nishchaya Dhairyat. Utsahan, and mean enthusiasm, confidence, and patience. So what is that confidence? It's not confidence in ourselves. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna will surely, the devotee feels that Krishna will surely protect me and he'll give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is what's confidence. So confidence means having faith that we're in touch with Krishna in our activities of devotional service, and that Krishna will reciprocate by giving us intelligence, giving us facility, protecting us from Maya. This faith is very important. In his purport in the Brahma Samhita, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes that our realization is in proportion to our faith. If we have faith, then we can be patient. If we have faith, we're patient because we have this confidence. And as we have this confidence that this is a reality, we're having a relationship with Krishna, we can be enthusiastic. As we have this confidence, we can engage in Krishna consciousness with joyful enthusiasm. So, Srila Rupa Goswami tells us that enthusiasm is the key. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells us that as we become joyful, 1854, prasanatma, as we become joyful in our hearts, we'll be able to have devotional feelings in our heart. Mad bhaktim labhate param. Na sochati na kankshati. Prasanatma. This is the meaning of acceptance. Joyful enthusiasm. Joyful enthusiasm is the measure of our acceptance. This is what Srila Prabhupada means when he tells us that Krishna consciousness is simply a matter of understanding and accepting. Joyful enthusiasm is the measure of that, of our acceptance. That's real acceptance, that we believe, we have faith in the reality of it, and we engage in the process with joyful enthusiasm because we have this confidence that we have a living relationship with Krishna. We need this confidence and we need this enthusiasm. So this is the secret of love. That a joyful heart is automatically a loving heart. Krishna says this directly. Brahmabhuta Parsanatma, when you become joyful in your heart, Marbhaktim Labhate Param, you'll be able to love me. You'll be able to have loving feelings towards me. It just works that way. We have this experience in our own life that when we're happy, it's so easy to be loving to others. And when we're feeling loving to others, we automatically feel so happy. They can't be separated. Joyfulness of the heart and love, they're the same thing. And that's why enthusiasm is so important, joyful enthusiasm. It puts us on the platform of love. So, joyful enthusiasm, that's the meaning. That's the meaning of our acceptance. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. One can be Krishna conscious in a second. Simple means that we accept, we believe, we embrace the whole understanding. And we do it with joyful enthusiasm. Simple for the simple means like a child. There's a philosophy, of course, but we embrace that philosophy like a child listening to his parents without any doubt. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. It's simple for the simple. So he's in the Bhagavad Gita, 1854, Krishna says also, Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu, that one who becomes joyful in the heart, prasanatma, he becomes also Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu. He has loving feelings for all living beings as spirit soul. He sees them equally. It's a natural consequence of having love in the heart. Where am I? We see the world, in other words, in terms of the condition of our own heart and the condition of our own mind. When we become joyful, we understand our own spiritual identity, our own spiritual beauty. And when we see our own spiritual beauty, we see the spiritual beauty of others. See, Srila Prabhupada quotes this many times. How does he go? I'm trying to think of the phrase. Atmavan manyate jagat. Atmavan, the qualities of the self or of the soul. The qualities, according to the quality of one's mind, that's how he sees everyone else. That's how he sees the world, manyate jagat. So, Krishna says that if we become joyful, prasanatma, we'll become nasochati nakangshati. Our material desires will stop when we become joyful. And our lamentations over the past will stop. This is a technology. This is a science. Krishna consciousness is a science. That's why we have to come up to the mode of goodness. Because in the mode of goodness, one becomes joyful. And as we become joyful, our material desires go away. Why does our material desire go away? Because the person who's joyful is satisfied in his heart. He's not looking for satisfaction in so many external things. It's automatic. A person who becomes joyful, his lamentations go away. oh, so-and-so spoke to me this way 5 years ago or yesterday, and I'm feeling really hurt. So, or this happened, I lost my brother, or I lost my friend, or I lost my business, or I lost my bank account, and I have so much lamentation. But a person who's joyful has no lamentation. Na sochati na kankshati. It's the way material nature works. Why no lamentation? Because a person who's joyful is satisfied within his heart. And when a person is satisfied, they're not looking to the past thinking how it might have been different. If only it had been different, then I could be happy today. He's already happy. So his mind doesn't lament about anything in the past. And his mind doesn't think, if I can have this, if I can obtain this, if I can achieve this, then I'll be happy. Mode of passion, lamentation, mode of ignorance. So Srila Bhakti's Vinod Thakur writes, for example, he addresses the same theme. He writes this bhajan, he writes this poem. What does he say? Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee, and progress you shall call. It's telling us to live in the present moment, not in the future about what I can have or can achieve, and not to think of the past, how it could have been different, but to live in the present moment. How can one, but eternity is the eternal presence. How can one live in the present moment? How can one not be attracted to thinking about, if I can get this, if I can get that, I'll be happy? How can one avoid these tendencies? That our heart is always looking for pleasure, for satisfaction. A person who's joyful is satisfied within the heart. Therefore, he can be free from thinking about the future and thinking about the past. He's not fruitive because he has the fruit. He's not lamenting because nothing has been lost. He has everything in his heart, satisfaction. So when we are joyful, satisfied in our heart, our hankering ceases, and the affairs of the past become irrelevant. The heart becomes free to engage in loving devotional service. Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. That's the conclusion of 1854. When you become joyful, prasanatma, Mad Bhaktim Labhate, then you can be a devotee. Now, of course, we have to try this on for size. It sounds logical, but it might be mysterious. So we might think, how does this sounds too easy? But this is our philosophy. This is why Srila Prabhupada wants us to come to the mode of goodness. Because he says repeatedly that it is a Brahmana who can become a Vaishnava because his heart is right. His heart is free of hankering and lamentation. He's living this way. He's living. What is the first quality of the Brahmana? 1842. Sama Socham. There's a list, but what is the first quality in the list of Brahminical qualities? Samodamastapa Socham. Right? So many qualities. Arjavam Evacha. So, but the first quality is peace. To have a peaceful heart. That's what a real Brahmana is. A Brahmana is someone who lives with a peaceful, satisfied heart. In chapter 17 of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about this quality of satisfaction of the heart. He's talking to Arjuna. He's telling Arjuna that It's called, what is that called in Sanskrit in that verse there? 17:15. It's called Mana Prasada. Mana, the mind, prasada. And in the word for word translation, Srila Prabhupada translated satisfaction of the mind. And in the translation of the verse, he uses a different word. He says serenity, to be serene in the heart, to have satisfaction. The mind and the heart are the same according to Vedic. The brain is here, but the heart, the mind is in the heart. The feelings of the satisfaction are in the heart. So Krishna is talking to Arjuna, and he's telling him that this mana prasada, he explains in verse 17:17 that this is your austerity. It's not an austerity in the mode of ignorance. It's not an austerity in the mode of passion. There's so many austerities that yogis perform. They sit in a circle of fires, or they bathe, they immerse themselves in the Ganges where the ice is melting, and they'll be up to their necks in ice cold water. These are austerities. Others will fast and deprive themselves from foodstuff and deprive themselves from water. They sit in the fireplace and sit in the frozen river. These are austerities. But Krishna is talking about a different kind of austerity. He's talking about the austerity wherein we renounce. Chapter 18 is the perfection of renunciation. What are we renouncing in that austerity? We're giving up our desires, and we're giving up our lamentations. He says this satisfaction of the mind is an austerity, quote, austerity of the mind in the mode of goodness. This is a mode of goodness, a Brahminical life, to live with an internal feeling of satisfaction, to just abide in that way. And Krishna says in 17:17 that you should do this for me. Krishna said, Krishna likes the Brahmins. You go to the chapter in the Krishna book where Krishna is speaking to the Brahmin that Rukmini sent to him, come and kidnap me. And he's praising the Brahmin. And he's putting the Brahmin on his own bedstead. And he's feeding him. And when the Brahmin is resting, Krishna is coming quietly and putting the Brahmin's legs on his lap and massaging them. He's massaging the Brahmin's feet. And he says, he loves the Brahmins. One should read that chapter because it's discussed for more than a page long. He loves them for one quality alone. Because Brahmins are always self-satisfied. They're holding their satisfaction within their heart. They're living in that mode. They're living in peace. They're living in satisfaction of the heart. So, and by the strength of this, all anxiety is gone. By the strength of this austerity, there's an inner serenity of the heart. We can give up our hankering because we're satisfied. We can give up our lamentation because we're satisfied. And this is the perfection of renunciation. It frees the heart to become devotional. As the heart becomes satisfied, peaceful, joyful, and serene, we become free. We become liberated from feelings of lust and lamentation. We become free to have love for all living beings, and we become free to love Krishna. In verses 1851 to 53, Krishna explains that one who is 24 hours a day, nityam, that word is in there, nityam. And Srila Prabhupada translates nityam in the word for word as 24 hours a day. He said that one who is 24 hours a day, nityam, always absorbed in trance. And what is the Sanskrit word for trance? In that, dhyana yoga para. Dhyana yoga. What is that trance? And the next word, Krishna used, shanta, in a trance of inner peace. You sometimes hear people say shanti, shanti, shanti. So Krishna says in 1851 to 53 that one who's always absorbed in a trance of inner peace, he comes to this platform. He becomes elevated to a platform of knowledge. He becomes elevated to the Brahmabhuta platform. He becomes elevated to joyfulness in the heart. That makes devotional service. So again and again. So Krishna consciousness, in this way we can become Krishna conscious in a second. As soon as my heart is satisfied, as soon as my heart has feelings of joy, I can be devotional. And when that joy is absent, I can know that I should be thinking of Krishna nicely. I should be thinking of my spiritual master nicely. But as soon as there's happiness in the heart, joy in the heart, satisfaction of the heart, prasanatma, manaprasada, shama, we go from one verse to another. It's the same story always. So that to live in this way, we have to learn and cultivate this because it immediately opens the door to our Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness then is not it's very simple if one can do it in a second, Srila. It's just a matter of understanding and accepting, really accepting, embracing it, and being joyful that we have this opportunity. Who would not be joyful if they were given a free ticket to Krishna Loka? Srila Prabhupada is inviting us. Take it. Who would not be joyful if they really believed that this is true? So then one can be Krishna conscious in a second. So how do we know if this is true? We have to try it on for size. Someone may say, some devotee has said, oh, that you're being artificial. I'm not joyful. But Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness, what we're saying, Krishna consciousness is joyful engagement in devotion. That's what he says Krishna consciousness is not an artificial imposition of the mind. It's not an artificial imposition on our minds. It's our real consciousness. We have to adopt it and try it. And if we try it, we'll have the taste. Our love is our realization. They can't be separate. When we have this feeling in our heart of joyfulness, and we want to share this joy with Krishna, then we'll taste the nectar of that devotion. the nectar of devotion. And it's not static, but it's always expanding the more we do it. And anyone can do that. It's not about 50 years, I've been a devotee, and maybe a person can do this in their first month. A person can do this as soon as they understand that we have this. That's why we have to be conversant with this philosophy. And that's why we have to why does Srila Prabhupada want us to come up to goodness? Is it because he wants to have us all be very moral, good boys and girls? No, he wants us to have the symptoms of the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of goodness. Krishna describes happiness in the mode of goodness in Bhagavad Gita. Joyfulness of the heart. In 51 to 53, Srila Prabhupada says, before Krishna describes this, in the next verse, this joyful condition of the heart, prasanatma. Srila Prabhupada says, one who has this engaging in this cultivation of this trance. He uses the word trance. It means meditation, absorption in shanti. How? Nityam, 24 hours a day. Srila Prabhupada's first line in the purport to those verses 51 to 53 is that one who understands this philosophy will endeavor to keep himself in the mode of goodness because it makes the heart. It's because, and the last sentence, 2 sentences in the purport, because it's conducive to self-realization, one becomes joyful. Then, and when he becomes joyful, he can share joy. And that's when we become joyful, we naturally want to share our happiness with whoever we're speaking to, whoever we're interacting with. That's love. Love is described in the first sentence of Nectar of Devotion, the very first sentence in the whole book, that we're not interested in asking Krishna from anything. We just want to be engaged in his service with feelings of love. And we don't even want to live in his abode with him. We don't even want to go to Krishna. We're not interested in asking Krishna to go to Krishna Loka, because loving him is so nice that that's all we want. Please let me stay in this mode. So when anyone can make this experiment to begin to live in joyful enthusiasm, that as soon as we chant with joyful enthusiasm, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we can feel Krishna's presence. It's all a question of joyful enthusiasm. It's not that when we become realized by being obedient for 100 years or 100 lives, that then we'll have love. It's when we have love, that will be our realization, right in the moment, in a second, Srila Prabhupada says, in a second. So I'm trying to encourage you that this is based on our philosophy, that one can do this in a second. It's only a matter of understanding and accepting. And it's simple, most simple. Simple for the simple. Hare Krishna. And open for comments, open for for questions.
Ishan Prabhu, thank you for a wonderful, wonderful presentation once again. And Yeah, we can really see, dear devotees, how Ishan Prabhu himself and what he is saying is focus, what he's focusing on. He's focusing on also dealing with Krishna consciousness on an internal level where we take the external activity that we're doing for Krishna and internalize it more into bringing about loving feelings. So that's all. It's nothing sahaja. It's nothing kind of
Now, this is
false.
for the neophyte. I admit that this presentation is very much heavy with conceptual, intellectual, philosophical. But the reason for speaking in this way is because I want you to understand that this is all based on our books, our philosophy, everything that Srila Prabhupada is saying. It's not something I'm making up. It's that we have not understood what acceptance means. That's why he says you can be in a second in blissful Krishna consciousness. Okay. Sorry not to interrupt. Hare Krishna.
No. Yeah, that was perfect. Wonderful. So, I mean, it's this is another aspect of your Krishna consciousness package, which means delving more into the heart area, directing you more to the heart area, so you can use your devotional service and at the same time work on the heart also, which, as Ishan Prabhu very nicely points out, it's part of the process. So it's not just to keep on doing it mechanically or externally, whatever. Simultaneously, we have to delve into the heart area and wake that up. And that is what Ishan Prabhu is trying to help us do. And I really, really love and appreciate that. But if anybody has any questions or comments to make, please feel free. You can switch on your mic. As far as I know, you can switch it on yourself.
You know, one can imagine within themselves what it means to chant joyfully the name of Krishna. What would it feel like? What would it be like if I was joyful? And do it. Try it on for size and see immediately how powerful it is. You'll feel Krishna's reciprocation. You'll feel connected with Krishna immediately. It's all a question of enthusiasm. If we do it with enthusiasm, we feel it immediately. That is our realization. And therefore, there's no difference between the process and the realization. It's not that the realization will come later. The realization is in the accepting that this is our constitutional position. It sounds so simple that one may have doubt. But the only way to know is to try, to engage with joyful enthusiasm and see that you'll have simultaneously, as much as we engage with joyful enthusiasm, we'll taste the nectar of devotion. That is devotion, joyful enthusiasm. That is showing Krishna that we want to be his devotee. And the reciprocation is automatically that we'll taste the nectar of devotion. Anyone can do this. Have the courage to do this. And then you'll have that taste, and then you'll forget. I forget every day. No, I do. I'm fruitive it's my default program. We all are programmed from millions of lifetimes of being fruitive, of being attached to, hankering and lamenting. So unless we're consciously cultivating, we get engaged in something, then success and failure. Did it work? Did it not work? Oh, how did that person speak to me? Oh, if I could only attain this, then I'll be happy. All of this comes in like a flood. the past and the future. Preoccupation with the past, preoccupation with what I can achieve, how this can make me feel. It comes in like a flood. How? When? As soon as we let go of the cultivation of inner satisfaction, the cultivation of inner joy. What? Joyful about what? It's causeless, just joyful. That is the symptom of the spirit soul. It's our real nature. And it comes into, and the more we do it and apply it to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, the taste expands. If you have something nice to eat, or cookies or what have you, you can only eat so much. And then you say, no, enough. You don't want any more. Srila Prabhupada sometimes said, oh, take another. He said, no, he says, they become disgusted. So material satisfaction, trying to enjoy our senses, it doesn't expand. It's very limited, and very soon that happiness in the mode of passion, wanting to enjoy ours. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that it burns like a fire that makes us want more, but it's never satisfied, and it deteriorates into wrath and frustration, breeds anger, anger. And so, but being in this mode, being in the mode of love, being in the mode of satisfaction, being in the mode of joyfulness, it keeps expanding. You can never have too much of it, that you'll not want more. You will want more, but it'll keep growing. Goodness will turn into, what do they call, what does Srila Prabhupada call that? Pure goodness?
Shuddha sattva.
Shuddha sattva. It will. So we take the goodness that we have capable in our present condition, and the devotional feelings, the love and the joyfulness that we can have in our present condition. And Srila Prabhupada says, and transfer the account. Transfer this loving feeling to our spirit, Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee. And it will grow, it'll expand. And it's the nectar of devotion that we're all one. And simple for the simple. Hare Krishna.
Ishan Prabhu, I would like to ask you a question, because the main focus here is to kind of completely switch it upside down and say, it's not the service lead into realization, lead into love, but it's come with the love, give the love, and the love will bring realization, which, as you point nicely, is 10:10 Bhagavad Gita.
More than that. Not only, it's not what you said is true. And I'm going to let you finish your sentence. I just want to jump in.
Please.
We're thinking that when I become realized by doing A, B, C, D, F, G, then I'll have love. The opposite is, when I have love, I'll have realization. But it's even more immediate than love leading to real. The love is the realization. As soon as we try it on for size, we taste the love is. Therefore, it's not linear. It's transcendental. It has nothing to do with our conceptions of cause and effect and time in the material world. It's simple for the simple, and that's why Srila Prabhupada says you can have it in a second, because as soon as we accept it, embrace it, adopt it, we taste it. It's simultaneous. Simple for the simple, you can have it in a second. It's just a matter of understanding and accepting. That's very, very, I don't have the word in our jargon today. People say mind-blowing. I don't know what the more formal words are for mind-blowing. But can you think of some more proper words? I don't want to talk like a hippie.
No, I think that's right.
What does mind-blowing mean? It means it's
Unbelievable.
amazing. It's just amazing. It's staggering that I can have this in a second if I just agree to it. He says, anything that's not that is called doubt. As Krishna talks about it, Ashamshayam, I don't know the proper Sanskrit, but he talks. So that is the eradication of doubt. Anything that's not joyful enthusiasm is a manifestation of doubt. Krishna, I have one comment written on my computer where Srila Prabhupada says, reject doubt. You have the power to reject doubt. Forget it. I'm going to take this. I'm going to have this consciousness. I can. And we can. It's just a matter of understanding and accepting. So Srila Prabhupada said, please accept. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. It's your real consciousness of the spirit soul. Yeah, we have to try it on for size and we become convinced. Then even we forget, and we become fruitive, or we become lamenting about, oh, it didn't work. Oh, my car broke. Oh, my computer. This, oh, that. So we start to feel lamentation and we feeling, if only this, if only that. That's like an alarm. It's telling us that we've slipped away from the mode of goodness. We've slipped away from, and our old programs, our default programs have come into play. And that's why we have to cultivate. But as we taste the nectar of devotion, we'll say, when will that day be mine? When I hold his lotus feet until the end of time. In his Srila Prabhupada, and that's a whole other subject, but relating to Srila Prabhupada in that mode, immediately you can feel his presence. He's ever omnipresent. He's taking the role of the super soul that's in everyone's heart. Not metaphorically, factually. Srila Prabhupada is the external manifestation of the Lord that's in our heart. So we can't see the Lord that's in our heart. So if we relate to Srila Prabhupada, and we can feel his presence and realize that he's as good to us as he's a Shakti avatar. He's empowered he's an avatar. He's what is he, an avatar? Avatar means that Krishna is coming down. Krishna comes down to us in the form of his pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada said there's Master Krishna and there's Servant Krishna, and the bona fide Acharya is Servant Krishna. And he's sharing his joyful servant energy with us. But and that amplifies. But to be able to approach him, we have to open our hearts. Then we can engage in Krishna consciousness under his guidance, in his association, in the association of a pure devotee, under the guidance of a pure devotee. He'll share his taste of love, of enthusiasm, of joyful enthusiasm with us, and multiply it a millionfold. And that's, but the price, how do I get through that door to it? So when our hearts are filled with joyful enthusiasm, when we approach Srila Prabhupada, as we approach Srila Prabhupada in that way, we will feel the nectar of his devotion. And it will infect our hearts. That's written in our books. 1:5:25, first sentence purport. Pure devotional service is as much infectious in the good sense as an infectious disease. You catch it. That's the, in other words, what quality of love can take us that we can have a relationship directly with Krishna. That quality that is given by the Acharya, the bona fide Acharya. He shares his love with us. What does it mean, infection? Srila Prabhupada writes in 1:5:25, infection means to imbibe the taste of devotion to Krishna by associating with a pure devotee who has that taste. We drink his taste, and that's therefore Bhakti Vinod, Srila Bhakti Vinod. When, oh when, will I hold his feet until the end of time? When will that day be? Because that his feet, he has pure devotional service. The lotus feet of our spiritual is the only way by which we can get that taste of the pure devotional. Prema bhakti yaha, from him this love emanates. And if we can get infected with it, our ignorance is destroyed. Prema bhakti avidya vinashayate. We sing it every day. We should have to understand what it means. We sing it every day. The lotus feet of our spiritual master is the only way by which we can attain this pure devotional service. From him, ecstatic prem emanates like sunlight emanates from the sun. And so Srila Prabhupada says, if you stand with your back to the sun, you have to receive that light. From him, love of Krishna emanates, Krishna prema. If we absorb it, become infected with it, imbibe it, our ignorance will be destroyed. It's like when you go above the clouds, nothing can stop the sun. The clouds have no hold on you, and they can't. So it's with what this quality we're trying to describe of joyfulness in the heart that opens the door of our relationship with our spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada used the phrase, approach with a frank and open heart. With full positive anticipation. I have it. I'm ready to receive. Thank you. Gratitude. Approach with gratitude. Approach with joyful enthusiasm. Approach with confidence. And so to adopt these things, this is the part of the process. We are beginners, we're neophytes. We have to practice like this. And even if for 1 minute a day we taste this, it's tremendous because we'll never forget. We'll say, oh, I got to go. I got lost again. I got concerned about this, that, and the other thing, past and future. But I want that. It's real. It's alive. So Srila Prabhupada says, not blind following. Get the taste. And then you become addicted. We'll become addicted like that. Okay. What were you saying about?
Actually, I'll come back to my questions. Let's give, if you don't mind, Divya Krishna Prabhu. Are you still there? You had your hand up. Would you like to ask your question?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, go for it. You can switch on your video. That'll be nice.
Okay, sure. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for this conversation to enlighten us.
Thank you for letting
I
me.
want to ask one question, one my doubt that that you are talking about enthusiasm. Suppose I do chanting today with great enthusiasm, but next day I'm unable to remain in that condition, or after some time I'm unable to in that condition. What is the remedy? That one day we are doing with nicely, and next day and after some time we are unable to do. What is the mistake and what is the remedy for this?
The mistake is natural. You know, when in the computer you have default programs? You've heard that phrase?
Yes.
So we have our emotional default programs. We've been we have been hankering and lamenting for millions of births. We've been thinking, if I get this, I'll be happy. Therefore, I have to try to achieve it, attain it. It's in the future. Like Srila Prabhupada talks about. Don't you remember the example? He talks about the donkey. The donkey has a stick from his neck, a big load on his back of clothing, washerman's clothes, and the washerman ties a stick on his neck, and out in front in front of the donkey is a carrot hanging, and the donkey is working so hard, and he's thinking, with one more step, with
Yes.
one more step, I'll be happy. I'll have what I want. It's going to fulfill me. But the carrot keeps moving as he steps. That is, we are
Distance
like
remains one.
you are like that. I am like that. We live like that. That's called the motive passion. That's called the motive passion. And it's
Then
very hard to.
when this condition will stop, then when at what time when time will come, after how much time we can overcome this things?
Balaram Prabhu,
After
can you
how much time we will overcome on these mistakes?
Prabhu's voice is breaking up. I don't understand. Can you hear what he's saying and tell me?
Divya Krishna Prabhu, we have a little problem hearing you clearly because of the internet connection probably that you have. If you switch off the video, your video, and then speak just the mic, that maybe get us in a better position.
Okay.
You will
Hare
forget.
Krishna.
It's guaranteed you'll forget. Because unless you put your finger on that key on your keyboard on your computer, the default program will play. So we have to make we're cultivating. Yes, we'll forget. So there are passages where Srila Prabhupada says, come back. As soon as you understand that you've forgotten, come back, keep coming back. And the desire, the taste will be nice. We'll want more of it. And then we'll say, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, oh, when will I stay there? When will I stay there? The desire to be in that association in our heart will grow. We will forget. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying, oh, you who, my spiritual master, you who have this, who is relishing the taste of the holy name, you're always engaged in ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. When will I hold your feet till the end of time? Means, when will I not forget? to be in your association. When, oh, when will that day be mine? So that desire will grow. It's natural. We will forget. But if we have little taste yesterday and today we forget, we'll be feeling a pining in our heart. This word pining means wishing. Wanting that instead of wanting something nonsense, wanting that, saying, when can I come? So that kind of desire will be rewarded. Krishna knows. Krishna knows what we want. He's giving us what we want. That's part of the price we have to pay, is that we want it. So don't be discouraged if we fall from it. We're not, Srila Prabhupada, fixed up. You know, you fix one board to another with a screw or with wood glue. We're not fixed up. But so Srila Prabhupada said, but so it's to be understood.
Yes.
It's understood.
Okay.
It's understood that we will fall, but the more we try to be like that. But in our sadhana, that's when we can practice, because nothing else is pulling at our mind. We do sadhana in that way. Then gradually, as we engage in our daily activities, that feeling, that mood will remain in our heart. We'll walk not alone. We'll walk with Srila Prabhupada beside us. And we'll feel it, but we're learning the taste. We're learning to develop that connection in our sadhana. That's when you bring it back again. That's when you bring that feeling back again. And
Yes.
then gradually you carry that into the arena of all our daily activities. Everything
Yes.
becomes devotional service. Everything. By association.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Does it make sense, Prabhu?
Divya Krishna Prabhu, Ishan is
Yes.
asking, is that, does it make sense? Is it logical?
Yes, Prabhuji, sure. Why not? It is all. It is sure. I am giving thanks to him to enlighten me. Thank you very much.
You know, I can't talk about these things except if I'm talking to another devotee like you. You're helping me to remember. It's not, we're on the same platform, actually. There's no difference between us.
No, they are huge difference between us.
No, I don't. We're all just beginners. We're neophytes, really. But we come together to describe the process. It's Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that the devotees, they encourage and they enlighten each other and they talk and they enjoy each other's company, and that's the way they become Krishna conscious. That's the way
yes.
That's what we're doing. I want you. I want you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me association. Thank you very much.
Okay, Prabhuji, I have two questions for you, and they kind of deal with the same question, with the same topic, let's say. And the topic is, why aren't we as devotees happy? And first one is like, I seem to see and pick up is that when devotees become devotees, they're not really happy. And I see that they're going through a stage of, I was happy before as a non-devotee, and now I come to Krishna consciousness, I'm not happy, and I see some devotees that are happy. And they're not happy because it's like a whole new ball game. When I was a non-devotee, I was waking up, earning money, doing this, rushing, full of energy and enthusiasm. and even material love, let's say, because everything was for me, my enjoyment, my sense gratification. Now I come to Krishna consciousness and understand it. Oh, now I'm depressed because I know it's right, but I have to do everything for Krishna. It's no longer for me anymore, with that idea. So then they get kind of more depressed and not happy.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
There's different points of view. One thing is, a person has to be intelligent, not myopic, short-sighted. For instance, like Srila Prabhupada says, one has seen, my mother has died, my father has died. In my life, I have two brothers died, dead. Two brothers. My mother is dead, my father is dead, their parents are dead. So this so-called happiness that he was having before he became a devotee, how long it's going to last? At any moment, his life is finished and he's going to hell. He's enjoying, but he can take his next life. He wants to, Srila Prabhupada says, he wants to eat anything he wants. As Srila Prabhupada says, you can become a hog. You can eat stool. He says, so that a little intelligence that I don't want I don't know what, or to become a worm in the stool. So that's one thing. Another thing is that it's very difficult to become a devotee if you have really good karma. You know what good karma, Janmaishwarya Sutta Shri, born in a prestigious family, okay, Prince Harry, right? Born in a prestigious family, or Princess Diana or whatever. Or there's so many fools out there. So, but one is, they're living so terribly and so senselessly. Janma, born in a prestigious, Janma Aishwarya, powerful socially and wealthy. Aishwarya. Sutta, you have such a big mind. You can win a Nobel Prize, and all the scientists will stand up and applaud as you receive the Nobel Prize because you said, because why? Because you've made an announcement that this whole universe came into being because there was a big bang in the sky, and they're giving you the Nobel Prize. And such fools. so they're applauding such people. So John, birth in a prestigious family, prestigious birth, or maybe you'll be the queen or the king, Prince Harry, whatever. Very, very wealthy, unlimited. There are people who have not only billions but trillions of. They can never spend it. And it's always coming more. It's under karma. Janmaishwarya Sutta, they have such big intelligence. Everybody has so much respect. Oh, PhD, Dr. So-and-so, a great brain. So he thinks he's in the Guinness Book of Records. Everyone is having such respect, wants to hear him speak. So him or her. So then he's thinking, I'm so smart. I'm the smartest person. And everyone should listen to me. They really feel like that. Janmaishwarya Sutta Shri. And what's Shri? Beauty. The most handsome man. The most handsome man. Just like you take a guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had the biggest body, and he became a great movie star, and he could have anything he wants in the world. So, or Miss America, they have contests, and immediately they're offered so many things. And other people, they have, what do they have? These beautiful people, what do they call them? They have clubs, fan clubs, that people, they just want to touch them. They just want a piece of their clothes. When the Beatles or some music group, they couldn't go anywhere. People were screaming to see them. And they're thinking they're beautiful. So people who have this, people are plantation owners. They have slaves. They actually feel, because they're more powerful and more wealthy, they can do that. They can do that. But they actually feel that I'm better than everyone else, and they should be my slaves. They should serve me. After all, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everyone's trying to be we're here in this world because we wanted to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we have very good karma, we think that life is wonderful, but it won't last more than a flash of lightning, and it's gone, this life, disease and old age. So people who are thinking like that, they're not sober, but it's very hard for a person who has prestigious birth, power and wealth, big mind, and beauty. It's very hard they think, oh, I have to give up all of that. It was so nice. It was so nice. So that's called Maya. That's illusion. It's not nice. By trying to enjoy it, I'm ensuring myself to be born in a horrible situation, by exploiting others, by just trying to enjoy myself. What do I need God? I have everything. That's the position of these people with good karma. Why do I need God? I can do everything. I can snap my fingers at people. I have servants, I have slaves, I have wealth, I have palaces, I have everything. So they're intoxicated with it. So it's more so Queen Kunti is explaining Akinchana Gochara means all of my attempts to be materially happy are so frustrated. All of my desire is like a fuel that keeps us wanting to enjoy. He said that a desire, it's exhausted. I can't, I'm not enjoying. That person is ready to become a devotee, one who's materially exhausted. So it's explained that if Krishna really loves a person, and thinks that the person really wants to be a devotee, he'll take everything away, everything. Because when the person has become materially exhausted and gives up thinking that a material life is very nice, but is only frustrated and only painful, then they'll be able. We need that kind of encouragement. It's part of our therapy, and very hard for those who are materially intoxicated. Very hard. You say to somebody who's leading a country, President Trump, hey, give this up and come and do kirtan with us. No, I have so much to do. No, they do. It's not because they think they're having a great time, and the man is on the verge of death. Any moment he can disappear. But to his last day, he'll go on trying to be the president of the United States. A president of what? Of an illusion that will disappear. And so that's called intoxication. And that's why we have no intoxication as one of our regulative principles. because we're already intoxicated. And then you add those things that make us more crazy. So all of this, we have to understand philosophically that all of the restraints and regulative principles, we're in the fever, Srila Prabhupada says, of material life, aspiring for this and that, and get this and get that, enjoy this, enjoy that. It's like a person who has a fever. You can't talk sense to a person who has this fever. You can't talk sense to a person who has Janmaishwarya Sutta Shri. They're so he's all these regulative principles is to bring the fever down to 98.6, where you can start to talk sense to them. So a person has to understand that this is medicine for me to take up these restrictions, etc., because it's going to lead to something that's eternal, that exists, that's real, not this that like a bubble can explode at any minute and I don't know where I'm going. But if a person can't have that much foresight, then he'll go back to that life. He'll go back to it, and no one knows where he's going to be in his next life. And no matter what he is, birth, old age, disease, and death, the miseries of the mind, the miseries of the body, the miseries that other living entities inflict on our mind and body. That you're living in what's the name of your country, Balaram Prabhu? Turkey.
Turkey.
There was recently an earthquake, right? 50,000 people died overnight. Their buildings fell on them. The earth opened up and their buildings fell into the earth. People are lying in bed with their wives and the ceiling crashes down and kills them. That, he said, oh, I'm missing all that enjoyment. Do you want more of that enjoyment? So a person has a sane person will understand that when a doctor talks to a patient that you're sick, so you take these restrictions. You don't eat this and you don't eat that and you do this and you do that. It's not pleasant, but then they can become healthy. So we have to have a little foresight to realize that actually a sane person has no choice. I'm living in hell. It's so terrible. There's wars all over the planet. People are killing each other every day in all the countries. The hospitals are full of people in intensive care. You say, I don't know. Oh, I had to give that up. I had to give that up. There's a hospital bed waiting for everybody who's thinking that they gave up the pleasure of material life. There's a hospital bed waiting for them. Intensive care, tubes in them, enemas for them, cutting them open. Get a new liver, get a new kidney, get a new heart, get a pacemaker. And they all say, you say, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. I just got a hip transplant, and I got a knee transplant last year, and I got a heart transplant, and I can't. You don't breathe around me because my body's rejecting the heart, so I have to be on medicines that kill my immune system, so I can keep this transplant. So if you breathe on me, I'll die. You want missing that enjoyment? Hey, we're missing that enjoyment. It's so nice. So we have to hear and become sober and realize what's our choice? What's our choice? Do we want to stay here and get caught again in that horribleness, suffering. Suffering. So there are different ways to look at it. So it's hard for a person with good karma. It's really hard. It's really for the people who are spiritual life is for the and Krishna made the material world for what? He made the material world to suffer us. He made the material world as a it's hypnotherapy. Nothing's happening to us, but we're identifying with the material body. It's a gross dream. It's a dream. Well, I'm not this body, and we're walking around in it and thinking this is me. And the sufferings are coming one after another after another. So Krishna loves us and wants to help us to come back to our real home, and where we can be very happy eternally, joyful eternally. But we wanted to enjoy separately. We want to enjoy separately, to be Krishna, to be the center, to be the most important. And we're in competition with millions of other souls who want the same thing. We're envious of each other. That's the symptom of material consciousness. And we bring it into our spiritual life, and we see fault in each other. That's part of our material consciousness. Because we're all neophytes. We haven't advanced yet. We haven't tasted the nectar of devotion yet. So we want to taste nectar by seeing something wrong in the next devotee. Oh, it feels so good to be critical. That's a symptom of our disease. But we have to understand like that the bees are attracted to the honey and the flies are attracted to the stool. So we have this fly-like mind. That's our default program. So to get away from it, we have to, once we get in gear, we come to a point where, I like this. I don't want to go back to that. There's no comparison, because material pleasure is so small and spiritual pleasure keeps growing. But we have to pay I don't know if you know this word, cover charge. When you go to a club or a nightclub or there's a charge just to get in the door. You're not buying drinks or food yet or paying for anything, but just to get in, there's a cover charge. So there's a cover charge for getting into Krishna consciousness is to accept this regulation. Then you can enjoy the real thing. That's the cover charge. So, we have a sensible person. You say, "Oh, I only have to pay $2 to have so much." So it's on a metaphor, of course. So I was doing that. I was doing that. Yeah, I thought it was really great. Find a nice prostitute and enjoy. It's wonderful. So now I lived with prostitutes before I was a devotee. I did. I like Ajamil, eh? Yeah, this is wonderful, I thought. Now I really made it. But there's no, you have to have a real view of what's going on. So we have to pay the cover charge for getting into Krishna consciousness. And maybe, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that happiness in the mode of goodness is like poison in the beginning and nectar in the end. Direct quote. It's not going to be easy because we're sick and and it's medicine. So as Srila Prabhupada says, that a person who has jaundice, the symptom is that sugar tastes bitter. But sugar is the cure for the jaundice liver. And the more he takes it, it starts to taste sweet. So we have to take up this process that is not so sweet for us. And the more we do it, embrace it, the sweeter it'll get. So,
Right.
and it's our choice. It's a choice. Krishna won't interfere. So you want to stay another million births here? It's fine. He'll support us. He'll support the whole thing. Yeah. He could wipe us out. He could make us not exist. He can do anything. But because we want to be like this, he says, okay. He gives us every opportunity. You want to be a hog? Be a hog. That's okay. Eat as much stool as you like. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you for such a comprehensive answer. Is there anybody out there who has a question, please? The devotees?
Yeah,
Mother Radha?
please.
I have another one. I have another one, but I have to
Okay. Yeah.
myself in queue. No. Let's offer it to the devotees.
Yeah, sure.
Mother Radha, are you there? You have
Yeah, I don't have a question. Your class was lovely like usual, and it was very nice to hear. And all that you said made very clear sense. We need enthusiastic to do our japa. We have to do it nicely. We have to make Prabhupada happy and satisfy Krishna. And there is not anything more that we need to live for or work for, because and the criticism part and the fault finding part and the devotees that are neopathies that are looking at fault and criticism. Balaram Nityananda said that I will come personally and take those devotees back who do not criticize any other devotee. Devotees not criticizing devotees. So I would come and take them back. There's a quote of Nityananda. And when things like that happen, like you said, that we're in this material world, we all want to become God. We all want to feel happy and enjoy separate from Krishna. That's why we came here in the first place. It's like, it makes sense now, sometimes we don't get along with other devotees, or other devotees don't get along with us. We have the same task. We have to hear Prabhupada's lecture. We have to do our japa together. We have to be in conversation of Krishna consciousness. So I don't see the point where we're not getting along. It's just the views that they're saying that your views don't match with Prabhupada and stuff like that. But like, why are we bickering over these little things when our goal and their goal are exactly the same, is to serve Prabhupada and his disciples and everybody else in the universe and spread the Harinam. So that goal is the exact same thing. So then why are we like continually, seeing and putting others down? When when the devotee's position is the highest, it's like, Nityananda is the highest, and Nityananda's devotees are chanting Hare Krishna. So there's no war. But then where does the war come from? Where does different views come from when we are all following Prabhupada? So Hare Krishna, thank you.
Beautiful, Prabhu. I mean, very, very nice. A thought came to me while you were speaking, because Balaram Prabhu was asking, bringing up the people, the devotees who think that I had everything before and now I have only austerity and I'm not enjoying. That is the symptom. Everything I was talking about, if that, the price we have to pay, another price, we were talking about austerity, but that's the real price that we have to pay. They're not paying. Well, seeing, I had everything and now I don't have the enjoyment. The real price we have to pay is joyful acceptance of it, and to embrace it, to engage with joy in our hearts. That is not artificial, and we all have the ability to do that. It's a freedom of choice. But if I just do everything, like niyamagraha, We're talking about that. This is why, and direct answer to Balaram Prabhu's question. Why is someone thinking that before I was happy and now it's so hard? Because they're doing it, they're accepting the form, the formality, they're doing the process, they're doing the checklist, but their heart is not there yet. And Krishna says, please give me your heart. It doesn't want anything else. That's what bhakti yoga means. So that's talking about, but people are thinking if I do all this, one day I'll have realization and then I'll love this process. No, when I agree to love this process, that is I'll be realized right there to that degree. So they don't, it may be a lack of knowledge that that's all they have to do. Maybe they don't know that it's that simple. But Srila Prabhupada says it is simple. It's simple for the simple. It's simple for the simple means it's simple for somebody who can just accept it and jump in. Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda have their arms upraised. They're standing on the altar. What are they saying? They're saying, this is an ocean of joy. Jump in. Everybody jump in. Everybody join us and jump in. So, but if somebody is very dryly doing their japa or not and not joyfully joining in the kirtan, they're not jumping in. So then they'll think, oh, this is just hard stuff. There's no pleasure in this Krishna consciousness. So that's it. We have to go past niyamagraha. Then we have to go past just doing it, thinking, oh, this is a mechanical process. If I do ABC, one day I'll get benediction. I'll have real. It's not the way Krishna consciousness works. It's not the science. The science is to come to the joyful mode of goodness, where we feel gratitude, where we feel a serving mood naturally, and we feel and to wear, to put on the robe of a joyful heart and engage with that feeling. Who can stop you if you want to do that? To engage with a joyful feeling. So and as we do, we taste the nectar of that devotion, and then those other things, they don't bother us anymore, and our intelligence gets clear. So your question was directly in line with what we're trying to talk about today. That is the real difference between the one who is satisfied and the one in Krishna consciousness and the one who's thinking that he's missing something in the material world. That's the difference, is that they haven't accepted yet. He may say, oh, yes, I've accepted. No, you haven't accepted yet. If you accept, you embrace it with joyful heart. It's not an artificial imposition on the mind. That joyfulness is the real identity of the spirit soul. So we have to, Chaitanya Charitamrita means, Chaitanya means the living force. Charita means the character of the living force. Amrita in the immortal condition. This is the character. This joyfulness is the character of and Lord Chaitanya is sharing that. He said he's more magnanimous than any avatar, even Krishna himself, because he's freely giving this love of Krishna. Well, why don't I have it if he's giving it freely? They say, because we haven't accepted it. He's not going to force it on. We have to accept it. It's simple, and one can do it in a second. What's he sharing? He's sharing joyful love of Krishna. We adopt it. We embrace it. That's that, and joyful enthusiasm is the measure of our acceptance. I have to say this 100 times or 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times or 1,000,000,000,000 times, because it takes a little time. Somebody's going to take it and run with it, and another person is going to. You can't hear that. You can't hear it. It's so simple. It's so simple. All we have to do is understand what's being offered and accept that. Accept it. It's being given to us freely. We didn't know, but now we know. We didn't know what to chase, what to pursue, what to obtain, what to attain, but now we know. It's been told to us. Krishna has come and spoken Bhagavad Gita and explained to us. He said, don't stay here, come with me. And he sends his pure devotee, and he's explained all these things to us. So we have to accept it. If I really accept that this is a reality, how happy I'll be. That happiness is an expression of acceptance, or acceptance takes the form of great happiness. So I should be happy. and try it on for size, see how it fits, see how it feels. Taste the nectar of devotion. We don't have devotion. Devotion means joyful enthusiasm in Krishna's service. We don't have that, so we have to try to engage in service with joyful enthusiasm. Then we'll taste the nectar of devotion. Yes, we will forget, but we'll come back. If we have a little taste, we'll say, when, oh, when will that day be mine when I don't get distracted anymore? This is so nice. But and we don't have to be advanced. Advanced. What's advanced? We just have to be. We just have to be willing to understand and accept. It's immediate. It's immediate. The person who is here a week can be more advanced than the person who's here for 50 years. Doing Niyamagra.
Hare Krishna, can I ask you? Yeah. How do you let go of controlling nature? Like a devotee always trying to control someone else, some other devotee, and always complain and becomes frustrated. How do you let go of the controlling nature?
Yeah.
Along with other
I have a
devotees
direct
that
quote.
are very controlling.
I have a direct quote about Srila Prabhupada, how to be under the control of the spiritual master. Can I read it to you?
Yes, please.
I'm going to get it.
Yes, please.
So our business is, we don't want to be controlled. We want to be the controller. That's what you're saying. How do we get rid of that? This will take me a second. There's only 3 pages. Lecture, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 12th chapter, verse number 1. Lecture on this person is given in Bombay in 1976, April 12th. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining. He's explaining. He's explaining. I'll read it a little bit. Then he gets to the thick part. And Srila Prabhupada uses that word thick in this. He does. Srila Veera Raghava Acharya. He has described in his comment that there's two kinds of brahmacharis. Okay. One brahmachari is Naishtika brahmachari. He doesn't marry. Another brahmachari is, although he marries, he's fully under the control of the spiritual master. Even for sex, that's Srila Prabhupada speaking. He is also brahmachari. Therefore, brahmachari means living under the direction of guru. And then Srila Prabhupada gives the Sanskrit, Guror Hitam. Guror Hitam. Therefore, the brahmachari means living under the direction of guru. Guror Hitam. And Guror Hitam, what is it? Simply thinking of benefiting the spiritual master. Simply, Srila Prabhupada is saying, he just wants to please the spiritual master. Unless that position comes, nobody can serve guru. It's not an artificial thing, like you do it because you think it's your duty or it's your determination or what you accept it as an austerity. Srila Prabhupada says, simply thinking of benefiting the spiritual master, benefiting, unless that position comes, nobody can serve guru. He says, then he can be under his control. If we have this feeling of satisfying, pleasing the spirit, then he can be under his control. Not I'm control, but his control. He repeats it twice. Then he can be under his control, guru's control. Then he can be under his control. This can be possible, Srila Prabhupada says, when one is very thickly related with the guru. I'll read that again. This can be possible when one is very thickly related with the guru. Otherwise, ordinary relationship will not do. Thank you very much. End of lecture. So Srila Prabhupada said, we have to have a very intimate, thick relationship with our spiritual master. So he says, I have other quotes. It says that actually, that one needs to have love for the spiritual master. Otherwise, this can't happen. That one who has love for the spiritual master, by law, you cannot make Mauritius, 1975. That Vedic society is based on the principle of love. Civilization must be founded on love, not law, not rules. By law, you cannot make a person love you. First, he must love you. Then he will gladly follow your law. So if we can develop love, in other words, for our spiritual master, if we can, then it'll be easy to be controlled. Why? Because loving him fills our heart with spiritual pleasure. That's what bhakti yoga does. It's blissful. So if we love our spiritual master and we become blissful, then we don't need to, our desire to control everything, it evaporates. It goes out the window. So you were asking, what is this problem we're having that we want to be in control, and how do we give it up? We don't have to give it up. We just have to transfer our loving feeling to our spiritual master, become blissful in our heart, and all desire for being the controller, the owner, and the enjoyer, it disappears. We don't have to control it. We don't have to have any strong determination. We just always. So how do we love Srila Prabhupada? Because that will take away everything. It'll do everything. We'll become blissful because bhakti, devotional, is blissful. It fills the heart with bliss. But what is bhakti? Bhakti means love. So it means we're connecting with our spiritual master through feelings of love. And that will make it. So how do we have love? We have to bring love to the relationship. That's our choice. He already has brought love. He's come to the material world just to save us, rascals. He's working day and night, harder than anybody, writing books, traveling on planes, living in one center for 3 days, back on the plane. He has no place to call home. He lives out of a briefcase for us because he cares, because he loves us. So we have to bring love, just like I used the example. If you go into business, the goal is to make money. But you need money to make money. You have to have startup capital. Just like Bhakta Ran Prabhu. He wants to open up a temple. If you have a temple and people are coming, they may bring all kinds of donations. Somebody might come and give $1 million. Oh, I really like what you're doing here. Other people, etc. Then he might have more brahmacharis. They'll go out on the street and distribute books and take donations, and recording stopped.
It's all right, you can go on. I think probably just the limit for recording is off, but the class goes on.
So then but in order to open that temple, he needs a certain amount of capital. So in order to, Srila Prabhupada started with $6 or something like that, and his holdings became millions of dollars, billions of dollars, properties all over the world, cars, Rolls Royces, temples, marble. So anyway, to make money, you need money. As I say, to get love is the means and love is the goal. To advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to come with love. It's not That's what we're talking about. It's the same idea again and again, that we have the choice to open our hearts, and we have the power to, and what is love? It's joyful enthusiasm is an expression of love. What is love? Joyful enthusiasm, that as Krishna says, spiritual master says, you serve me. You please serve me. If we do it with joyful enthusiasm, that's an expression of love, isn't it? I like to do so. So that's what that. And if we do that, if we adopt, if we embrace this process of serving with love, why do we want to be the controller? Because we want to enjoy, but it doesn't work. Trying to control it makes wars. Are they enjoying? They're shooting each other to death, exploding each other, dropping bombs on each other because they want to control, because they think it'll give them enjoyment. But a person who tastes the nectar of devotion, his desire to be in control evaporates. He prefers to be a servant. Oh, this is lovely. Let me have this birth after birth. The first sentence in the nectar of devotion is the first sentence. They don't even want to go to Krishna Loka. They just want to be, they just want to have the blessing of being engaged in service, because it's so nice, because it is that there is a nectar in that devotion, and their desire to be the controller, it evaporates because they're satisfied with being, they don't want to be the controller. They know that Krishna's in control. So what's the question of me being the controller? And they don't mind. They're happy being because they're so joyful being a servant. That's how we get rid of the desire to be the controller, is that we understand and accept that our business is, our position is to engage with joyful enthusiasm. That's love. And when we love, we taste the nectar of devotion. We don't get the same devotion by serving our boss or by serving our country. You serve your country, they'll send you somewhere to get shot. We don't get this by serving our nation. They don't give you anything. They just exploit. They take taxes. So they give very little. So, and even if they give, it doesn't save us from birth and death. So that's how we get rid of this desire to control. It's our disease. It's our disease. We want, but as we engage in devotion with joyful enthusiasm, we taste the nectar of devotion, and we realize, because devotional service gives knowledge and detachment, right? Knowledge, jnana and vairagya, jnana and vairagya. What is that knowledge? I'm not the enjoyer, Krishna is. That's knowledge. We realize it and we like it because it pleases us. We don't want anything else. So that's knowledge. And vairagya, detachment. I don't want to be in control of anything anymore. I used to want to be the owner of this and the commander of that, but I don't want it anymore. So the nectar of devotion fills the heart with jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment, without even trying, because it's so sweet. We look at it as, who wants that position I don't want that position. I just want to be your servant. Birth, I don't even want to go to Krishna Loka. It is so, just give me this, birth after birth. That's the first sentence that describes devotional service in the Nectar of Devotion. The first sentence in the whole book. So that's how we get rid of the diseased condition of wanting to be in control. It might take a little time, but we're headed in the right direction. I mean, we've been here for millions of births. So if it takes a couple of lifetimes, you know.
Ishan Prabhu, thank you so much for a wonderful, again, fully comprehensive answer. There's somebody with a wonderful name on Zoom called I Am Listening. That's his name. Should be all our name, actually. I am listening. Would you like to ask a question? You can simply unmute yourself and switch on the video if you wish.
Aham Shravanam.
Aham Shravanam. Mother Radhe, do you have any more questions?
Or comment.
Yeah, like everything makes sense. Like with Prabhupada, if we have love for Prabhupada and respect, we would love all. And that's what Prabhupada wanted us to stay in one place, to do japa and to just get along. And I understand, like, and that quote is so clear. So it's coming from Prabhupada. So there's no doubt in my mind. I'm like, I just wanted to clear it out. You know, how do we get along with those that are very, very controlling when our goal is one? And so you replied to it by giving directly from the disciple succession. I'm pretty satisfied with the answer. I thank you. And
Just trying. You know? I'm also trying, just like you're trying, to understand this philosophy. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's so it resonates with the heart because it answers all of our questions, and so we need to have a loving relationship with our spiritual master and feel his love and feel his devotion and feel his wonderful, joyful enthusiasm for devotional service. But the key to having his association is to approach him with feeling joyful enthusiasm.
It's so easy. It's so easy to approach him. He's so humble and meek. And looking at his picture or his lectures, and then once you do that, like so much, he comes in your dreams, he comes in your images. His pictures even look real, you know, as though they are moving. As he's doing japa with us, his eyes move. I mean, it's like
you have that experience because you open your heart to him. Because you're teaching us how to be a devotee.
No, you're teaching all of us how to be a devotee because you've been with Prabhupada and you've heard from him and you've had his association and you want to spread that to a fallen soul like us. And so you're...
I'm going to argue with you. They have all these movies, videos, remembering Srila Prabhupada. Where are they now, these people that are... they're nowhere to be seen. You don't go to those movies as if that. Who goes to those movies? It's not bad to hear. It's nice to hear. But really, to say, it's like if somebody died and we, before we were born or something, or before we met them, but there was somebody who was with them, and so they come on the television and they tell their story. When I was with him, it's called. There's an acronym for it. MTM. You know what MTM means?
It's a channel. It's a channel on the internet or YouTube. Yeah, it's not so rated nicely. I mean,
There's another meaning for MTM. Met the man. Those people who met the man, they're more advanced, they're more spiritual, they're more blessed. Met the man. Nonsense. Some of the biggest offenders to Srila Prabhupada, they met the man. they, no, to really be, we are invited to meet the man every day. And we are invited to live in his association. So remembering, that is remembering Srila Prabhupada, not somebody's long ago story, but today, to remember that we have a living relationship with him. That is more strong, more powerful. Some of the acharyas in our disciplic succession never met the preceding, I can't give you which, whether Vishwanath Chakravarti and took Narottam Das Thakur. I think there was 100 years between them. But he met the man. he see, so remembering Srila Prabhupada is not, it's not about that. There's no seniority. There's nobody, you don't have to get in line. You can have your direct. We get in line with the parampara, and we have God brothers and God and Mataji's God sisters. But we're all babies and we're all beginners. And anyone who wants to present himself as an advanced or a big devotee, I don't know what to say, but we don't want to know about them. We don't want to hear about them. It's not what they've done in the past. What are they doing today? Not outside, externally, in their heart. He's the all-pervasive, the spiritual master is the external manifestation of the Lord in the heart. He's not to be taken as an ordinary human being. You look up that phrase, ordinary human being, tons of quotes from Srila Prabhupada on PrabhupadaBooks.com. He warns us, don't think of him like that, because Krishna has put a certain power in him so that he becomes an avatar of Krishna in the form of Krishna's pure devotee. He has this energy. He's the Shakti Avesha. Shakti means energy. Krishna has given him the energy so that he can take the role of the all-pervasive super soul that we cannot see in our hearts. So Krishna sends him in the form of Srila Prabhupada as the all-pervasive super soul. That means each of us can have an individual relationship with him. Simultaneously, he can be that's called Jagat Guru, that he can be the spiritual master of all the souls in the universe at once, because he's the external manifestation, means that he's appearing before us in terms of molecules and atoms and everything that makes a body. He's appearing before us. He's an external manifestation of what? Of the all-pervasive super soul, the Lord in the heart. So we can all we're all invited to have a direct relationship with him. And the key is understanding that and then accepting it. And accepting it means pursuing it with joyful enthusiasm. Joyful enthusiasm means that joyful enthusiasm to serve Srila Prabhupada means it's an expression of loving Srila Prabhupada. That's all he wants. Joyful enthusiasm to please Srila Prabhupada is our expression of love for Srila Prabhupada. And then he reveals himself. Then you can feel his presence. He doesn't reveal that he's with you. He is, because he's the manifestation of the Lord in the heart. He's with us. But he doesn't reveal that until he's come to us out of love. But unless we love him back, we don't understand. So we don't realize. So it's only a matter of understanding and accepting. See, we say the same thing through so many different examples and so many different, but it always comes down, it's so simple. And it's all, Krishna consciousness is only a matter of understanding and accepting. And joyful enthusiasm is the measure of our acceptance. Lord Chaitanya Nityananda say, there's an ocean of nectar. Everybody please jump into diving and surfacing in that ocean. Srila Rupa Goswami writes about diving and surfacing in that ocean of nectar. So it's a choice. And we're not supposed to just keep doing this stuff and dryly. Srila Prabhupada says that's niyamagraha. You're wasting time. He says you're wasting your time. Useless labor. He said that. I read it to you. He said, no, don't do that. Don't just follow it without that, without what we're talking, without understanding and accepting. Without joyful enthusiasm, it's a waste of time. So people come, I had friends. I had one friend, he was the vice president of a temple. And he said, I stopped, he said. It didn't work for me. He told me that. No, I was very close with him. I really liked him a lot. He said, it didn't work for me. It doesn't, what does it mean to work? That he didn't taste the nectar. So he left. But there's a price. The price is to understand and accept. Joyful enthusiasm means I accept. Joyful enthusiasm means I accept. Write it on your wall. Acceptance means joyful enthusiasm. Otherwise, it means we haven't accepted it yet. If we really accept that this is true, all of this philosophy, then we'll take it that we can live eternally with Krishna, dance with Krishna, or wrestle with Krishna, or be Krishna's mother, like mother, have feelings like that, be a resident of Vrindavan. That all this is there. There's no cost. It doesn't cost a penny. You want to buy a Rolls Royce, it's how many $100,000. I was getting my vehicle, my truck fixed yesterday. I said, they had all these at the service center. They are selling Toyota vehicles, and they had different models on the floor in the store. Shiny floor, and the cars are parked there, I said, how much that car? The lady said, oh, that one is $67,000. I said, oh, that's really cheap. And she laughed. She said, yeah, really cheap. But what's a Mercedes-Benz? What's a Rolls-Royce? 100,000? 500,000? But all of this is being given to us for free. For free. How can you come? What would you choose if someone offered you that you can go live in Krishna Loka for free? that you can go and live in Krishna Loka, or you could have a Rolls Royce that's worth maybe 500,000, maybe $1 million. What would you choose? And you don't have to pay a penny to go to Krishna Loka. And what is he going to do in his car? He's going to die. He can die in a Rolls Royce. They can bury him in his Rolls Royce. But we're getting eternal life. It's free. So if we don't accept it with joyful enthusiasm, that's what acceptance means. We accept. Thank you. It's a beautiful offer. I'll take it. Sold. Joyful enthusiasm. So is the measure of everything. If we don't have joyful, it means we haven't accepted it really. So simple. And that will open the door to the process, and then we get I gotta say it again and again and again and again, because we all have to hear it, and I have to hear it too. That's why I'm saying it. And once we get a taste for living like that, you say, oh, I have to give up my hankering for things I don't have. Oh, I have to give up all my lamentations for things that have already happened. Oh, they're so nice to feel lamentation. It's so sweet. And you want me to give that up and just be happy? That's a terrible austerity, isn't it? But that's the position that people want to hold on to their misery. And you say, I had a wife once who I used to get very angry about everything. And she'd say, oh, give it up, let go. And I'd pound my fist. But I'm right. And she'd say, what would she say? She'd say, and is it making you happy? She say, is it? She was intelligent.
Very nice.
But we don't want to give up our hankering and lamentation and just engage with joyful enthusiasm. Big austerity to give up all that misery. This is a reality. We're talking reality. On one side you got this, oh, like Balaram was saying, you got these people and they're saying, oh, this is not, I had everything. I had everything when, you know what material activity is? It's making reservations. Like you take a flight, you want to go somewhere, you're making reservations. Material enjoyment that these people are missing is making reservations for becoming a hog or a dog or a worm in the stool. That's their enjoyment. They're making and they're missing that chance to make those reservations. We want to make a reservation to go to Krishna Loka. I heard a lecture last night. Srila Prabhupada said, as soon as we take this up with a good attitude, we're opening the door. We're on our way. It's there for us. We can go to Krishna Loka. So so we have to be intelligent, but it's just difficult because we're always thinking about this linear way of that. If I do this grimly, with grim determination, and I'm going to follow these principles. I'm going to do this, and one day I'll get a benediction. Or one day I'll be bestowed a benediction of realization. Srila Prabhupada said that's useless, waste of time. It's a waste of time. Hard labor for nothing. He said that. It's called niyamagraha. There's a Sanskrit word for it. It means doing it, without joyful enthusiasm. And what's so hard about joyful enthusiasm? Well, I'd rather be miserable and do it. Why would you rather be miserable and do it? Why would you rather think, oh, this is terribly austere? Why not enjoy, do it with joyful enthusiasm? No. So most of us, from my consensus, my understanding is that most devotees feel, because they haven't considered what we're discussing, that the consensus throughout our society is that if we keep all the principles and do all our service with grim determination, one day there will be a benediction. And that is a misunderstanding of how Krishna consciousness works. The means and the goal are the same. The goal is love and the means is love. A practical demonstration of love is joyful enthusiasm in practice. Whether we do it or not, it's a personal choice. Is it a personal choice in the morning, or is it a personal choice in the evening? It's a personal choice from moment to moment. It's a personal choice from moment to moment to embrace and hold on to this joyful mood of joyful enthusiasm, which is an expression of love, which begets Krishna. As they approach me, so I reciprocate. If we approach with love, we feel their love. We feel loved by Srila Prabhupada. Feel loved by Krishna. And it grows. It keeps expanding till we come to the point where there's no looking back. We have to start from somewhere, so we start from today. We take up this mood of joyful enthusiasm. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, like that. So I think that I think that is I'm pushing it uphill against. I went on a Zoom meeting on another website, and they kicked me off the website. He's talking about love. This is impossible. We have no love. No, I'm serious.
I know.
Get rid of this guy. Where does he come from? Where does he get off? You know, talking about such ridiculous. No, this is not it's a question of not understanding our philosophy. Of considering everything Srila Prabhupada's saying through the lens of material concepts. It's a linear process. If I do this, if I do this, if I do this, then this. No. It's immediate. It's quicker than it. So quicker than a second. So Srila Prabhupada says you can be Krishna conscious in a second. It's only a matter of understanding and accepting. Accepting joyful enthusiasm. Accepting that what? That we're loving servants of Krishna. Joyful enthusiasm is an expression of love. It's great. I like it. I'm going to write it on my own wall. No, it's great. It's just so different from the way we think, you know? And it's simple for the simple. And anyone can do it. You don't have, a child could probably do it easier than an adult. Because children believe what their parents tell them. That we have to be like that, simple. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada once told me, you can think of me as your father. So he's our father, all of us. He sometimes says that. Now I gave up 3, 4 children, whatever. He says, now I have hundreds of children. And they take such nice care of me. So we're Srila Prabhupada's children, and he's our father. Hare Krishna.
Right. Hare Krishna. Mother Radhi, are you satisfied?
I'm very satisfied. Thank you for this group and thank you for this class. And I would like to know if Prabhuji can share his number on the chat group, like the
And the what, Prabhu? What
in the if he can post number in the message thing, in the message of this group, like right now, like
Let's maybe ask like this. Ishan
yes.
Prabhu, is it okay if I give your WhatsApp number to Mother Radhe?
to the whole world?
Okay, Jack.
Everyone who calls me will help me to be Krishna conscious.
Jack. Okay, I'll do that for you.
Hare Krishna. Oh, you can see the sun is coming in behind me.
It was a wonderful effect.
Oh, I'll put my head in. Oh, let's see.
It really acted to dance with your words and your presentation, as far as like Krishna is just shining on you and there was a glow over you.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
But yeah,
Hare
definitely a nice little sign there for us. I don't, is there any other questions? I don't think so. Maybe
I just want to say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
For now.
Yes. Thank you, Mother Radhi, for that. Because yeah, your feedback actually, audio devotees out there, and to see your face also is part of a relationship that acts to give Ishan Prabhu and any devotee enthusiasm, reciprocation. It's a relationship. So to see each other, to feed off each other, it's really nice.
Yeah, when we would go to see Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't stand behind a curtain.
Exactly.
But, you know, I like this because if I can share something that's meaningful, that you can take it and run with it. That's the nice thing about spiritual giving. You don't lose. If you have $100 and you give a dollar to him and a dollar to him, and soon you have nothing left. But when you give this, you don't lose it. Instead, it grows. The more you give. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I need you. I need you in order to have this experience. It keeps me alive. It keeps me growing. It's great.
Would you like to share some words of your presence with Prabhupada when you were in front of him? Like, did you experience something like that you would like to share with us? In short.
Well, I on the YouTube I have a couple of hours that I relate on my little, my experience. Srila Prabhupada told me I used to go with Srila Prabhupada on the walk. And Srila Prabhupada could understand. I said, well, who is this person? Never met anyone like him. Something inside me told me I should be very respectful, I could understand. So we go on a walk with Srila Prabhupada, and acorns, you know what acorns? They're kind of nuts that fall from trees. Srila Prabhupada was wearing big rubber boots. Yeah, we passed somebody who was, it's called currying. It means brushing with a great brush, a donkey. And Srila Prabhupada waved to the man who's brushing the donkey. And he looks to at a distance, 50 yards, something. And Srila Prabhupada looks at me and he says, he has a smile, and he says, either you serve Krishna or you serve the donkey. Then we walk a little further, and a dog comes, a little dog, and starts barking. And Srila Prabhupada, he's wearing this big coat. You see sometimes pictures of Srila Prabhupada in England. Big coat, rubber boots, hat. And Srila Prabhupada says, the dog is barking at him. Ruff, ruff. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, come on, come on. And the dog gets more excited. And he's running around Srila Prabhupada in circles. And he's barking. Ruff, 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 ruff. And Srila Prabhupada said, come on, come on. And the dog is going in bigger and bigger circles around Srila Prabhupada. Says Srila Prabhupada is having fun. So Srila Prabhupada said, I'm asking him about our relationship with him. And Srila Prabhupada says, because you know how formal Srila Prabhupada in his lectures and all that. It's like a teacher, you know. So he says, really, I don't enjoy taking the position of authority. It's not, I'm nobody's master. He said, but I have to take this position. Otherwise, they won't listen. They have to feel they're in the, most devotees have to feel that they're in the presence of somebody who they have to obey because he's so big, he's so powerful person, such a great person. He said, but I don't enjoy this, but I have to take this position or they won't listen. But you can think of me as your father. Okay? So that's for all of us. We should think of him as a loving father. Then we pass a swimming pool on the walk. The swimming pool has a border around it. And the border is made of bricks. It's about, a foot and a quarter wide, about this wide. And it's about a foot and a half off the ground, higher than the water, higher than the earth outside. It goes all around the pool. And Srila Prabhupada is wearing big rubber boots and a big cane. He has his cane and a big heavy coat. And he goes to the end of the pool and he hops up on the ledge that's only this wide and a foot and a half high off the ground. And he walks 1 foot in front of the other like a kid who's having fun with his cane to the other end. And when he gets to the other end, he jumps off. And then he's playing. And then he looks back at the pool and he says, doesn't hold very much water. I'm not impressed. So then we get to, not all these things happen same day, because I would go, then we could pass these thickets. The thickets are about 5 to 6 feet high. And Srila Prabhupada has his cane. And to get through these thickets, you have to use his cane to push the thickets from one side to another so you can walk through. But he uses his cane like it's a sword. And he's like this. He's I'm serious. Yes. He's having fun. So Srila Prabhupada is the most fun-loving, the most joyful, but he has to take the role of an authority figure. Because even as an authority figure, the GBC members, when he was here, Srila Prabhupada, walking among us, they were thinking they knew better than Srila Prabhupada in so many things. When Srila Prabhupada was in his last days in Vrindavan, he told the devotees, bring all the devotees from all over the world here to be with me now. Make kirtan. You know what Rameshwar did? He went back to Los Angeles and told us, Srila Prabhupada wants us to stay here. He doesn't want us to go to Vrindavan. And you know what he told one of his associates? I saved the movement. We would have gone into financial difficulty, but I saved the movement. I didn't let any of the devotees go to be with Srila Prabhupada. They were doing these things all the time. So Srila Prabhupada had to take the position of an authority figure, because they didn't know who Srila Prabhupada was, and they think they know better than him. What can be done? So that's why Srila Prabhupada writes again and again and again, one should not relate to the Acharya as an ordinary human being. No, we should relate to him like we would relate to Krishna. There are quotes like that in our books. We should relate. Shakshad Hari Tvina Samasta Shastra Ruktastatha Bhavyata Iva Sadhi Hindu Prapoja Priyaiva Tasya Bande Guru Shri Sharanavindam. He's to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord, because he's the most confidential servant of the Lord. This is acknowledged, written in the scriptures, and acknowledged by all the great authorities. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of our spiritual master. Hey, Hare Krishna. So we should be relating to him. But they didn't know who he was. So those people who they said, oh, he's gone now. We can push him off the Vyasa-san, and we can take that position ourselves. Those are the people who had personal association with Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, it's written, Nectar of Instruction, that it's very dangerous for a neophyte to associate with a pure devotee, because they don't know how to recognize who he is or what he is. They don't. They covet his position, and they're willing to take him off the Vyasa-san and sit there. Demonic. Demonic. And accept the worship that should be given to Srila Prabhupada. They let them. I saw a video. They're accepting that their feet is being washed with milk, and then their students are going to drink that milk. They don't know who Srila Prabhupada is. They're just a living insult to Srila Prabhupada. So what Prabhu was saying that so nobody has a personal advantage. Everyone has the same opportunity to associate with Srila Prabhupada more nicely than any of those rascals and fools who were there in the beginning. More nicely, millions of times more nicely. Then Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, you're so fun to be with. You're a joy to be with. It's like you know how the night falls and then the sun comes out, and then you're walking, taking walks and thinking about Prabhupada. You're like that. You're like the sun. You
No,
take away the darkness because all you do is talk about Krishna consciousness, and you
you
state
speak,
quotes and you talk from the books.
you speak with my wife.
Oh yeah.
No,
She's lucky to have
Prabhu,
your association.
no, yeah, I'm lucky also, but
She's so grateful.
no,
She's so
it's
grateful
nice.
to have you in life.
You give me the courage and the permission to talk like this. I told you there are other devotees who, I won't tell you what they said. I won't use those words in our program. One of them wrote me, said, "You're a very dangerous person," talking about
Oh my
loving.
God.
No, it's true. They wrote. The others
No.
said,
It's true, you are dangerous.
You should take everything anyone says to you as a gift from Prabhupada, as a very sweet gift from Prabhupada. All negativity, all positivity is nothing but a gift from Prabhupada to you because you're so sweet.
well, I could become a little sweeter, but I'm sure. But you know, I have my moments. But what I mean to say is, I can be sometimes upset, sometimes forgetful, sometimes angry, sometimes sad.
Angry for forgetful, and sometimes upset. These things don't matter. What matters is when someone sits with you and you open those Prabhupada books and you put on your glasses and you turn on the light and you start reading them to us. That's what Prabhupada did, and that's what you're doing. So that's very special bond, that you have with Prabhupada books and that you have with other souls. And those who don't want to enjoy that association, it's good for them. It's okay for them. So be it. And who wants to enjoy, so be it. Prabhupada is sending us to you, so we are coming to you. Prabhupada wants to speak, wants you to read like this, so you're reading like this. So we are getting all in all, great joy. What else can we ask for? It's a blessing from Prabhupada.
You talk like that because you have a beautiful heart, and I only can speak like this because you give, because you're willing to hear these things, because you have a beautiful heart. Therefore, you're nourishing me. You see, it's a two-way street.
It takes one to know one. Like if you're saying you have a beautiful heart, how can someone know that? If they have it, then only they can know that. So you have a nice heart, beautiful heart that loves Prabhupada, that beats for Prabhupada, and it's very special to be with you, just to see you, just to be with you, just to hear from you. It's nice. It's a blessing. You're blessing us.
You said,
I thank you for that. I'm grateful.
I thank you. You said it takes one to know one. And that's what Srila Prabhupada says when he quotes the aphorism from the Vedas. Atmavan manyate jagat. It means that we see the world in terms of the condition of our own heart. So the people, yeah, we see. So yeah, I'm just agreeing with you. That's all. And you speak very nicely. You should also be giving some nice classes, Prabhu.
Give me
Yes,
blessings.
I told her, she refuses.
What's that?
I asked her, I said, Mother Radha, you should give some classes also. And
Yes.
she's refusing.
Oh,
I'm very nervous and shy. I need to take some training from superior like you.
don't talk.
Before I can.
No, it's not right. I don't want to encourage this kind of conversation, but I mean, I'm a neophyte devotee. I'm still a conditioned soul, Prabhu. I identify with this body, and mostly and I identify with this mind, and that it has judgments and it has hankering and lamentation. But if it's hot, if my body's hot, I feel hot. If my body's cold, I feel cold. You know what? I read that a pure devotee is totally hot and cold and wet and dry and hunger and thirst. They don't touch a pure devotee. Sometimes he pretends he's like he's one of us, but he's only acting. He's coming down from pure devotion, from pure devotee level to Madhyamadikari. And so that he can act like in ways that we can follow. He plays the part of a nice devotee, so that we have that the acharya has to do that so we can follow. But actually, he doesn't even have to take a plane, Prabhu, to go around the world. It says in our books, Srila Prabhupada writes that the yogis have eightfold mystic powers. They can, in the higher planets, they can fly from one planet to another freely, and you know, they can create a planet. Srila Prabhupada writes, I have it on my computer because I was making a file. Who is Srila Prabhupada? Who is Srila Prabhupada? And I got this quote. It says, the eightfold mystic powers, Srila Prabhupada writes, are what is the word?
Insignificant.
Insignificant compared to the powers of a pure devotee. But he doesn't use. Well, he uses the power he uses that we don't see is that he attracts all of us. He came to America, and no one had ever heard of Krishna consciousness. And in 10, 12 years, there's thousands of devotees all over the world, and there's 100 temples or more in 100 countries or cities or more. He's all attractive because he has Krishna in his heart. Krishna is all attractive. So, yeah, so I don't know, remember where I'm going with all this, but
Can we set up a program where we can have Bhagavatam with you starting from Canto 1?
well, we might get through a few verses before we die. You see, when I was born, when I was a little boy, World War II was just ending, 1944. Srila Prabhupada made the first Bhakti Godhead in 1944. When I was born, when I was a little boy, there was no television. Television wasn't invented yet. No television. What to speak of computer? What to speak of smartphone? What can speak of all this digital business? So what I'm saying is, I come from a different planet. It's like being part of this planet is, if you grow up with these digital devices, I think it's more natural. But for me, so if you want to have these classes, you speak to someone like Balaram Prabhu. And
Yeah, Balaram Thakurji, I will talk to him if we come to an understanding and an agreement where someone can online or put the classes up, meaning they can put it on the screen. It's called share screen, Bhagavatam starting from Canto 1. Maybe we can do every day 10 verses or something, or 5 verses. It would be very nice. Or maybe we can just do 1 verse every day. It would be very nice.
I think
It would be
Srila Prabhupada said that his spiritual master talked on the first verse in Bhagavatam for several months. There's a wasp.
You did.
No, but I'm not. I'm just saying, whatever. I don't mind. I'm willing to participate in anything that you arrange with the devotees who are comfortable to make these digital arrangements. I'll cooperate.
Yes, thank you so much. It was very nice to see you today, like usual. And I would like to take your leave if you allow me to. And I'm going down to you from heart. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
You're gonna
Yeah.
meet
Hare Krishna.
I'm meeting you at the same level, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So I
Hare
think,
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mother Radhi, just before you go, I think we'll conclude the class at this time. Also, is that okay, Ishan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
I think we've taken more than enough of your time, and thank you so
No.
much for being here.
No, you're just helping me. I
And,
enjoy it so much. I think you can understand it. It's not
we
taking my
enjoy also. But forgive us for the technical difficulties we had. Me and Ramachandra Prabhu. You know, Ronald Singh, he's called Ramachandra actually. So call him, I'll call him.
There's a one of the pictures on my computer screen says Ronald iPhone.
Yeah, that's him. He's there now. He's still there with us because maybe he's gone to work or he's out, so he's following somehow on the phone. So so I'll talk with Ramachandra Prabhu and try to rectify and correct these problems, and hopefully from next Tuesday we'll have it set up nicely. So just bing, and one again try to get one link for all the classes. So we still don't know how to do it. Actually, he didn't know and I didn't know. We thought we did it yesterday, but we'll work on that. So we're very much looking forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Same time, same place, without the technical difficulties.
Thank you. Really. I think you know how I
We
feel.
thank you. We thank you.
It's so mutual.
Yes.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Take care. All glories to Prabhupada.
All glories. Hare Krishna, Ronald. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Oh, Ramachandra Prabhu. Yes, please. You have the last words. It'll be so nice.
Well, I'm here to facilitate whatever devotees want, so let's make it happen.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jai. Haribol.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Without you, none of this would happen. Actually, Ramachandra Prabhu. So
Without
thank you
all
so
of
much.
us, without Srila Prabhupada, so let's, be
Yeah.
conscious of that. Haribol.
Hari. Okay.